one of the reasons why people are leaving now is they've lost that sense of connection.
Mm-hmm.
I had a client of mine, and she said, my community was always my place of work.
Yeah.
And she named the name of the company.
Yeah.
She said, that's where my people are, that's my community. Come home to my family, but that was really my community.
Mm-hmm.
She said, when the pandemic hit and I was working from home with my husband and my 2 kids, my community became my husband and my 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then work just became work. It lost that sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's totally open to any new opportunities that might come her way because there's not that connection.
But I think you're talking about something that's really profound, and yet we don't hear enough about this. Leaders have to change the way they lead, kind of based on market conditions, based on the reality of what's going on. And when the pandemic hit and people did what your colleague, your friend just said, I learned that my husband and my kids are the community. They started recognizing, wow, I need to put more focus here. I actually like my hybrid schedule. I love that I'm able to do my job and pick up the kids. Because before, if he or she was at work 8 to 5, maybe that wasn't a possibility. And I think when people started to be forced to do it and then started to enjoy it and really relish it, that's a huge shift in thinking. I'm not sure leaders really picked up on that. I'm not sure that the leaders we've engaged with and worked with for years, smart people, capable people, have always noticed that right under their feet, the landscape has shifted. And I think people are not willing to go back to the way it was. And they will make choices on their careers based on the ability to do that.
I think you're right. So great last question I think that we can use to kind of end our conversation here and put a good bow on it. And this is one you and I can both kind of go back and forth on. Let's talk about what is essential for leadership today. What are the traits that leaders need to be operating with today to be effective in terms of keeping, retaining, and even attracting talent?
So the way I would answer that is, in a minute, I probably would go back to my ask, listen, and invest mantra. But I would actually here's some pre-work. I would encourage leaders to think about operating out of an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. Now that language has been around forever, I didn't invent it. But when leaders operate from an abundance mindset, as stressed as they are, as busy as they are, as leaders, we have an obligation to serve our people well, to serve our teams well. So we always need to be thinking, as much as I've got going on, what can I do to best serve my people? And if we operate from an abundance mindset, we are going to show up as leaders who ask, listen, and invest and care. But if we operate from the scarcity mindset, we're always thinking about, I'm overwhelmed, I've got too much going on. If I give you a piece of my pie, that's less pie for me. And I'm oversimplifying it because sometimes I think all of us are human, right? And we can feel that scarcity mindset. It's a human thing. But as leaders, the challenge I would issue is try to think about operating from abundance, because when you do, you're always going to be willing to ask the great questions, you're going to listen really well, and you're going to make the investment that your teams want from you. That's my take.
I think that's absolutely fantastic. As you were talking, I was thinking to myself, what are some other just good leadership communication approaches that leaders need to be taking today? I think being clear on expectations, and trying to get as much clarity as what they're expecting, but also making it a two-way street, to your point around listening. And what do you expect from me? What can I be doing to support you better? And then trusting them. There's that kind of empowerment element too. And micromanaging is definitely not going to play well today. It never really played well before, but I don't think it's going to play well today. So being trusting around allowing your people to take on the tasks that they need to be doing and allowing them to author to you so you can edit a little bit more in that relationship. I think that's really, really important.
And as executive coaches and consultants who do this work with the Leadership Foundry, we also talk to our clients a lot about practicing self-care. As a leader, we're not just challenging you to serve better, lead better. That's all part of the mix. But take care of yourself. You've got to put the oxygen mask on your own face first. So practice self-care. So if you are doing that, you are going to have the energy and the ability and the desire and more passion to go out and serve your team. You got to take care of yourself.
Welding together practical insights and powerful conversations to forge world-class leaders. This is the Leadership Foundry Podcast.